All right, let's start with an analogy. Let's pretend that you run a UPS store. Okay, and your store is located in the city. And one of the routes at your UPS store is a very dangerous route. So you send out a delivery man, and he has to deliver a package in this neighborhood, in this route, and he gets mugged and the package gets stolen. And then maybe you send another delivery man out and the same thing happens to him. And then finally you send a third one out, and on this route he gets killed, in the route, and his package gets stolen. So then I ask you, after all this has happened, how many of you would send your own son out to that route? Let's appreciate I don't know how to put this, just almost nonsensical, irrational approach of God towards us. So the parable that Jesus teaches here about the tenants, the vineyards, and so forth is really the story of our salvation. Okay, so it begins with the landowner who is meant to represent God, and he plants a vineyard, which is meant to be really all of creation, the universe. Then he leases it to tenants. Now these tenants are going to be at least the leaders of the nations of Israel. And when time comes for produce, what happens? Well, he sends servants to these leaders, and these leaders beat them, and they kill them, and they stone them. And God keeps sending more and more people. These servants are meant to be the prophets throughout all the Old Testament, that were killed and at least persecuted by God's own people. But again, as in all parables of Jesus, there's always a twist, okay? And the twist is, finally, he sent his son to them. Now, everything that just happened to his servants, and like I said, the analogy that I just gave you, you send your delivery men out and they get beaten and they get killed. Who's going to send their own child, their own flesh and blood out there? We won't. We won't. But God does. Let that sink in. Just one after another. Prophet, stoned, beaten, killed. And then finally God's, I'm going to send now my beloved son. Oh, yeah, good luck with that, right? And we know what happens to the son. The servant says, let's kill him. Let's get his inheritance. But again, we think we understand God's love for us, but we really don't. We really don't. How comes we can keep going to him and going to the merciful love of God, of Jesus Christ? How can we keep going to the Sacred Heart when we keep sinning over and over again? We leave confession, and maybe in the back of our mind, we're like, I'll be back in another month, and the invitation still comes, He hung up on the cross and he looked down on those that he just wanted to serve. Our Lord, exalted on the cross, wanted just to serve and give life to us. And yet, despite all the mockery and the persecution, he still is ready to accept us and to embrace us and to forgive us every time. Yeah, we think we know what love is, and we think we know what God's love is, but when you really think of it, all in all, it's still a mystery. Still a mystery. Many questions. Why, after everything that we and the human race has done, why is the love still there? It is. And we don't know the full answer to that. But again, when you doubt God's love for you, just remember that he literally withheld nothing of himself to you. He literally gave his own son for you and for me. May God bless you.